So hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. This is a comparison between the Osprey Farpoint 40 backpack and the Osprey Tropos 34L backpack. Okay, let's get started. So this is the Osprey Tropos 34L. It is a fabulous bag. I've had it for 2 years. It's really held up well. In terms of damage, there's hardly any, and I'll show you now all the damage there is. The only real damage that was caused was this, and obviously that's just been on the ground, you know, over the time. You know, you've got some scraping there on the bottom, on the kickstand. But this is metal, so it's kind of inevitable, I guess, that that's going to wear over time. The straps are still in very good condition. The back panel, there's no damage at all. There's a little bit of staining here. A lot of reviewers always say they want bright colours. I don't. I really don't. I'd rather have it black. I don't care if I can't see anything. I'd rather not see a stain that won't come out. But apart from the stain on the back and the little bit of wearing on the bottom, which obviously is inevitable because it's going to go on the ground and concrete, that's it. There's no damage at all. Not to the pockets, not to the zips. Absolutely no damage at all. The YKK zippers on this thing are pretty much indestructible. So the next question you might ask is, why upgrade from a backpack that's good to the Farpoint? I've just found that as a one bag traveller, a 34L backpack is just not big enough. It's okay if you're coming to Southeast Asia, you can quite easily get away with this bag, no problems at all. But the moment you're travelling in winter, this bag as a one bag travel is impossible, absolutely impossible. And I don't care what anybody says, long term you are not going to be able to use this bag functionally as a one bag travel. It's impossible. Use this on many flights, on Ryanair, on EasyJet, Wizz Air, on Air Asia, Thai Air, Viet Air. No one has ever questioned this bag. Like, I just had it on my back and I just walked in. The only airline that's ever questioned me was Air India. They said, have you got any check-in luggage, which I was allowed 20 kilos. I said no, and they said, the guy said, come on, weigh your bag. So he weighed it. My bag was 10 kilos and I'm only supposed to carry 8. But he let me off because basically I got one bag. There was people behind me, got 3 suitcases. So in terms of actual size, it was no problem. But weight, yeah, could be a problem because you can pack this bag up to about 12 kilos, to be honest, and it'll still be pretty comfortable. So let's do a walkthrough of the Tropos. So we've got a zip at the front here. It's like a meshy pocket that you can store like a rain jacket in. And that's what I used it for, my rain jacket and my packable day pack. My rain jacket came to about here, packable day pack. What I would recommend though, pack the bag first, then put your items in. If you pack this first, I don't know why, it seems to compromise some of the space in the bag. This is very stretchy, so this will stretch quite a long way out. So always pack this the last thing. The next part is what I call the tech part. It's this bit here, and it basically you've got 3 pockets here, and you can keep pens and you can get keys, and you can put your charger in there, maybe a power bank and things like that. And it goes right through to the bottom here. It is quite a big area. Unfortunately, if you fill this up, it will take space away from the main compartment, which we'll talk about now. The next zip along is the main compartment. Now it doesn't fold out completely like the Farpoint, so it more packs like a top loader than like a Farpoint, like a suitcase. That is probably the main difference between the Farpoint and this. The Farpoint is much easier to pack. This, you have to cram everything in. So moving on to my next point about the main compartment, you've got this little document holder, or you can keep a laptop in it if you wanted to, or an iPad or whatever. But there is a dedicated pouch for that, so it doesn't seem right to me. I just get paperwork in it. The main compartment is quite deceptive. What I've learned about this bag is it's very deep. What you have to do to maximise the space to get your 34L, you put one packing cube in, and then what you can do is you can kind of cram another one. You want something that's kind of cylindrical. I wouldn't go, maybe like the Peak Design cylindrical, the small ones. 2 of those would probably be about right, but you wouldn't be able to fully pack them, but you could pack them pretty well. And what you need to do is you put one in and you have to kind of cram the other one really, really down. And that then fattens out this bag. And I can't tell you how wide this is. It'll probably come to about here if you pack it out properly. It makes the bag very wide. And that's why this bag is so deceptive, because it's very fat. This is the type of packing cube I'm talking about. And I say you can cram 2 of them at the bottom. You can get these from Decathlon. They're basically packable day packs, but I use them as as packing cubes. They only cost about $3 and they're very versatile and actually very durable. This one's about 2 years old already. So I had 2 packing cubes at the bottom. I had my flip-flops here, vertical, another packing cube, and then at the top I had 2 of these. Now this is actually a wash bag, but I bought 2 of them. One each for tech, one each for a wash bag. So 2 packing cubes crammed in the bottom, one here kind of half full, I wouldn't say it was full, and then you've got your tech pouch and your wash bag together, and that pretty much would fill out the main compartment. Moving on to the laptop compartment, it's well padded. It does have a false bottom, so it's not going to harm your laptop. You can technically put a laptop in here without a protective cover, but I wouldn't recommend that. I always put a protective cover on it. Neither bag, I feel, offered enough padding to warrant not putting it on. And the reason I say that is at the top here, there's not much padding. So if your laptop is at the top here and you drop your bag upside down, or let's say it falls off, there's very hardly any padding, and that literally will smash your laptop if it goes forward. I guess you could get around it by putting like some clothes, maybe something soft like a day jacket or something like that, or a down jacket that's packable at the top here. I did used to do that actually, and you could get away without a case, but I always put a case on it. There is also a zip compartment. I just used to keep like a spare phone and a spare wallet in there because it's so difficult to access. There are 2 water bottle holders which are pretty good, but if the bag's packed out, they're actually quite hard to use. I've never had any problems with quality. There is a few threads that are coming loose, but you have to understand this is a 2-year-old bag. Now moving on to the harness system. This is where Osprey really does stand out for the rest of the backpacks. I don't care, you can spend $400 on a Peak Design or Air, it is not going to be as comfortable as these bags. The main reason I buy Osprey bags is for quality and comfort. The only thing I would say is be careful what you pack. I mean, it's best to have a laptop at the back or something very flat, because otherwise if you've got something sharp it will push through, you know, if you really pack the bag out, as I always have. One of the most important features of this bag is the load lifters. It really does help with the weight, and there is a sternum strap which works really well as well. The one thing the Tropos doesn't have is the hip belt. Now that's why I bought this bag in the first place. I'm not a big fan of hip belts, and to be honest the Farpoint does have it, and I think that's its biggest weakness, the fact you can't take it off. In terms of price, I paid $130 for this Tropos, although that was 2 years ago from Bucharest in Romania. So overall, the Tropos is one of the best bags I found for one bag travel. Unfortunately, when it comes to winter, it's just not big enough. You will not get enough jeans, jumpers, shoes in. Now let's move on to the new one, the Osprey Farpoint 40 litre. I'm in Bangkok, Thailand now, and I've just paid $213 for this backpack, which is a crazy amount of money. Now there is a couple of reasons why. The Thai baht right now is a little bit higher in value. It was 36 to the baht, now it's 33, so that's probably added $13 onto the price. It should have been around 200. So first of all, the Osprey backpack has changed in 2 major ways. They've got rid of the front pocket here, and they've moved the laptop compartment from the front to the back, which has made it much more usable, and I think that's what everybody wanted. So this is one main pocket, and you can basically keep 2 water bottles in it. You could use it as well as like a rain jacket, which I think I will. I'll probably put my rain jacket in there. Now when I first got the bag home, I didn't really notice it at the time, but something that's slightly weird is this is the laptop divider. Now you can unhook this and bring it out, but it seems to have no purpose, and it's a bit weird, isn't it? It doesn't go all the way. So you've got this kind of like uneven floor to your backpack, which to be honest I didn't think was a great design. I haven't heard anybody else mention this, but they mentioned the flap, but they didn't mention really the fact that it actually flaps over, and there's this weird kind of like, it's not flat. So I would highly recommend probably using packing cubes, but even when you use packing cubes, your packing cubes aren't going to sit flat. I don't think it's the end of the world, but it is a weird design. I don't understand why the laptop, the compartment bit, didn't go right to the end here. There's not really much to say about the compartment. Unlike the Tropos, you can open it all the way open, and you can put as much in and pack it how you want. And I would recommend using packing cubes. Now, I must admit, this is a new bag to me. I am going to stick with these, but I think I might be switching back to the square ones. I think that's a good thing to learn about backpacks, is you need to pack the bag with what you think is going to be functional for you as a traveller, and also functional for your bag. Just because these worked really well for the Tropos doesn't mean these are going to work really well with the Farpoint. My idea is to have basically 3 of those like I did with the Tropos, The only difference is that I'll be able to fill them out fully, and then the tech pouch and the wash bag will go on top. There's a lot more depth to this bag, so I think I should be able to cram a lot more in. And moving on to the other point, you do have these compression straps as well that you can press everything down with, so I'm hoping to really, you know, bring the bag in. The one thing about the Tropos is it was very fat. The only other thing to mention about this main compartment is they haven't changed this, you've got a zippered compartment. Now I'm not really sure what to do with this. A lot of people are putting underwear in, but to me, don't ever put anything directly into your bag, because whatever happens, if you're going to use it for a long time, if you don't use packing cubes, I guarantee it'll start to stink. So when I see people putting underwear and socks in, this will start to stink over time, and trust me, your bag will stink. So that's the main compartment. So on top of the bag there is this little quick access pocket, which I do like, but it does take some of the room up in the main compartment, so it depends on how you pack it. If you're going to really pack this thing out, then obviously this will be pretty useless, but I don't intend to pack this bag completely full anyway. I think the extra 6 litres from the Tropos is going to be quite a lot. The Tropos was almost good enough, it was just the shoes, it just made the bag so crammed I could barely close it, and I was worried about the zippers. They never broke, the YKK zippers never broke, and I don't expect them to on this Farpoint. I do absolutely love this grab handle, it's really nice, really good quality. That is one thing I do love over the Tropos. The Tropos one's quite thin, this is lovely and padded, you can really pick it up. Now we're moving on to the harness carry system. There definitely is a difference between the Tropos here and the Farpoint. You can see how much thicker and how much padded, and to be honest, how much more quality you have. This carry system is going to be so much more comfortable. It's thicker padded, it's wider, it just feels better. The air mesh is probably not quite as good as the Tropos, I don't think. I would say the Tropos has a little bit of advantage over the Farpoint. It does look a better system, like more air is going to get in. And I've never really had any big sweating problems like I did with my decathlon bag. The Tropos really did work, and I expect this one to be pretty good, maybe not as good as the Tropos, but overall I think you're going to be able to carry so much more weight. But mainly it's down to these really padded hip belt. I mean, that's over the Tropos, it's going to be night and day. You're going to be able to carry so much more weight. This was the one thing that nearly stopped me buying the Farpoint, was this. The fact that hip belt is undetachable. For me, even though obviously hip belts are more comfortable, I just, as a one bag traveller and a digital nomad, I just don't see the necessity for it. I wish this was removable. I don't understand why they insist on sewing it in. They could have literally just made it 2 seconds. This could have easily been made detachable. You just pull it out and that's it. You know, there's plenty of bags like that. However, when it comes to getting on a plane, this is what you can do with the Farpoint you can't do with the Tropos. I'll show you now. You can basically just pull this out. You've got this flap, and then all this folds away. It just basically zips up. So first of all, you have to unclip the load lifters, which you don't necessarily have to have on, by the way. I think this bag would still work without the load lifters being connected. And then you just kind of fold it all the way like that, and then you just zip it up. And as you can see, all the harness system now is put away, and the bag is now ready to be checked in. If I do need to check it in for whatever reason, I did need to check on a plane, then I could do this, maybe on Ryanair if I got caught out one time. If I did need to check it in, at least the straps are nice and secure and they're not going to flap about and get damaged. So that's one handy thing. So let's do the pros and cons of each bag. One of the pros of the Tropos is that it is top loading, so any easy access. It was really easy to pull my laptop out, very easy to get access to anything really. I don't really understand why Osprey decided to get rid of the tech pouch at the front. They could have kept that and put the laptop thing at the back. Didn't really make sense to me, but anyway, they've done that. So one of the advantages of the Tropos is it still has this front tech pouch. The Osprey Farpoint doesn't. In terms of packing though, I think the Osprey is definitely easy to pack, and you know, if you can open it up, it's really easy to organise anything, get at everything. The Tropos, if you need to get something from the bottom, you've got to take everything out because it's a top loader, but that's like any top loader. Now I've just put these two bags up against the wall, and this really surprised me. The Tropos and the Osprey Farpoint, to me, are exactly the same height. The Osprey Farpoint might be slightly higher, but in real life, they look the same. And this is the next thing about the Tropos, is that it has an advantage. I didn't really mention at the start, it has a kickstand. So the Tropos is able to stand on its own without any support. If I move the Farpoint away from the wall, it will just fall over. There's no kickstand. In terms of comfort, I think the Osprey Farpoint 40 is always going to be more comfortable than the Tropos, even though it's a smaller bag. And even though you can get more in that, I think, but the fact it's got no hip belt and those straps, now you can see it real, you can see the difference. Look how thin that is, look how thick that is. So the Tropos is an amazing bag, and it is pretty comfortable, but that Farpoint is probably the best harness system on any backpack, I think, in the world. That Tropos has been absolutely fabulous, and in terms of quality, comfort, you cannot beat Osprey. So that's it, guys. That's the comparison between the Tropos 34 litre and the Osprey Farpoint 40 litre. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please remember to subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification button, and I'll see you next time.